when someone makes a video, you can like make you can like kind of make almost like a commentary, but you're like side by
Side by side, yeah.
I don't understand the duet though. I was surprised that when he did, it was just me working on someone's back, which is kind of the most boring part.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if yeah, I'm confused. I don't know if he liked the massage
Or just
found the massage scary, or he liked the guy.
Yeah, most of those I see are of the cooking.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna take a big old thing of Velveeta and throw it in that pot.
Oh yeah.
And now what? Pour chili over it. Well, and then put raw chicken in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you're just like, oh.
I do like the woman who does everything's so creative.
Yes, that's the exact one. Yeah. But again, like you said, it's mostly the hand. There are people that watching the hand. Yeah. Ugh.
I've never understood like things like the hands or feet. My only thing with the hands is I just feel like I have small hands for a man. Like that's it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll like work on a guy. I'm like, oh my god, I'm like a child next to me. Like if you were like walking down the street holding hands, like you would be my dad.
Just this paw wrapped around you.
Yeah. And then feet, I just don't get it. Like people like just suck toes and lick the feet. I'm like, was there a part that you didn't film where like you washed that really well?
Right, yeah.
Like spray some alcohol on it or something. I want to see that video though. You know, I'm giving you a pedicure before I suck your toes.
Right. Now remember, we're the people that eat ass too. So
Yeah.
watch it. You are judgmental.
Yeah. Scrubbing in between your toenails and the feet touch the ground.
Okay.
This is why I would never survive out in nature. I'd be like terrified to eat anything. Like outside of civilization, I would just never eat meat. Like, you know, nope, I probably didn't cook it long enough. This is how I get some kind of pathogen and die.
Yeah. You know, I have my garden and stuff like that, and I like bring tomatoes in and figs and stuff like that. And people are like, did you wash them first?
Yeah.
And I'm like, wash what? Why? Well, what if, I'm like, rain's been on them. They don't need to.
Oh, yeah, sounds like rain's disgusting. Every time I'm just drinking from I would probably die of dehydration. Just like I refuse to drink from that creek.
There's sometimes it's not good, but occasionally.
Maybe I should buy. There's this company they have like this
Filter straw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have one that they say is like, you know, oh, you can use this, you know, for outdoors. The one I have is just made for like indoors.
Yeah.
But they have one that's like, you know, made for outdoors. I should probably buy the outdoor one just in case. Just in case civilization. Like,
that's the one thing you're gonna pack. I've got to pack 3 things real quick: my filter straw, a pillow, and this 10-ton AC unit to carry with me. You know, we've got the friend that always, I'm just gonna buy a cabin somewhere and just no electricity, no anything, and she won't. Her house is set at 66 degrees right now. You know.
That would not be me. My grandmother lived way, not grandmother, my great grandmother lived way out in the country of Georgia. Like, I didn't see any of her neighbors until after she died. It was the kind of place you drive to the mailbox, not because you're like rich, but it's just that far away.
Yeah.
And it was horribly boring for like, you know, a 6 to 12-year-old.
Sure. Yeah, I had one grandparent that was very active, had a magical yard, and, everything. You could spend hours out there. And then I had another grandparent, and it was just like, wow.
And my cousins would be like, "Where's the TV?" Like, she doesn't have a TV. Like, okay, well, fine. Where's the outlet for this Game Boy? Like, we're dealing with some electronics here. And that was just visiting for like a week. And when I say the country, like the city, quote unquote, next to it was like the size of Pasadena.
Yeah.
Well, not even that developed. I remember the first time I went to Pasadena, like I stopped at this Walgreens, I told the person, I'm like, you know, if someone had kidnapped me from Florida and just took me somewhere and just dropped me off here and said, you're in Georgia, I would believe it. Like people in Dallas, they love, like, oh, they were like, oh, we're Southern. And I'm like, oh, my family's from Georgia, you're Southwestern, you're not Southern.
Yeah.
And then I came to Houston, like, y'all are some country people. Like this.
They are. It's that they're more coon-ass than country.
I'm like, okay, yeah, this is like yeah, I recognize this. But they really want to be like, in Dallas, so many people were just like, oh, we're Southern here. I'm like, this does not feel like the South.
They don't have that genteel charm about them.
No. Kind of standoffish. Even I was shocked when I was there that the whole Dallas like big women's hair thing is true.
Yeah, bigger the hair, closer to God. The town of Karens.
Even I'm not sure if Houston has all, because I haven't been here, you know, forever. So I'm not sure if Houston's always felt Southern, or if it's like because like so many people came from Louisiana.
Yeah. And Houston's a lot more diverse than Dallas will ever be.
So when I moved here, I picked my side. I'm like, yeah, I like Houston a lot better. People are a lot friendlier here as long as they're not in their car. And I actually prefer the humidity here to like the dryness of Dallas. It's just been this week. It's felt because I'm used to the heat. Yeah, because it feels more like Dallas this week than it does like Houston. Like It normally is like humid, but it's not that hot.
Yeah. This is oppressive.
Mm-hmm. Like normally in the summer, it's like you're just walking through like warm soup. Like I can't even walk from my apartment here without sweating. It's only a 12-minute walk.
Just be glad you're not sitting there waiting on a bus. Oh.
Yeah. Well, that's why I opened this place here. I would make more money. Well, I would have to charge more, but I would make more money if I was inside 610.
Oh yeah.
It's more of a fitness culture.
Right.
But I live over here, so. I have a friend who lives in the medical center, and this same place, just over there, they were quoting him $415 a week.
Eesh.
And it's in a, it's in a well-to-do neighborhood. It's literally across the street from West University.
Yeah.
But there's also like a lot of competition up there.
Oh, a ton.
There's a Massage Heights, a Massage Envy. I guess if you count like within 3 miles, there's 2 Massage Envies,
Yeah.
1 Massage Heights, and then just a bunch of smaller places.
It's so sad that we call those massage places though.
Yeah. I call them like the chains.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people go there. I guess it's like the illusion of like saving money, because you don't really save money when you go there. They're very good at hiding the price. Like I have people who complain that I'm too expensive. I'm like, actually, I'm not more expensive than them.
You're like, they just don't get that the tip's included.
Yeah. I try to tell some people like, if you go to like one of those chains and you don't tip, do not go back.
Right.
I've actually
They
seen
will
it.
remember you.
Yeah, like not only will they remember you, but like they'll like if you don't tip and you go back, someone will see you on the schedule.
Yeah, it's notated.
And say, oh yeah, he didn't tip me. Like, oh really? Okay, good. If he asks for more pressure, I'm not giving it to him.
Because it couldn't be you that could cause no tip.
Well, well, I've had some weird coworkers.
Oh, I have.
I've had some weird coworkers who've just done like, I had one coworker who just like left the session like before it was supposed to end.
Oh God.
And me and the person, like, and it was a couple session, and me and like the 2 women who were in there were just like, we thought she was going to the bathroom and she just never came back. I was like, she didn't say anything to you? And then like after I was done and I left, and I was like, what happened? And she's like, oh, I was done. I'm like, that's not how it works.
Right. It's a time thing. Right. Because you're done in 30 minutes and they pay for an hour. That doesn't.
Yeah, it was weird. And then like, if you ever go to like those chains, like, because they don't give you enough time in between clients, so some people are
gonna be exhausted. Yeah.
Some people have a lot of anxiety, and so they do weird stuff. So I work with someone who would change the clocks and have them faster, so that at the end you thought, just like 2 or 3 minutes, but like just so you thought, so you would think like, okay, time is up, but actually like you still had a few more minutes. And I know it was her because I would go into my room and I'm like, the time is off. And I would go into someone else's room, like, the time is off. And I'm like, okay, looking at the chart, the time is always off in the rooms that she has been in. And she was just like a high stress person, so I'm like, she's just stressed out at the lack of time in between.
For as tactile and everything that massage is, it really is a lonely sort of deal.
Yes and no. I mean, so I've worked at Starbucks before, and to be honest, I would rather work on one person for an hour than deal with 60 people in an hour.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even if you're working, even if you're working on one asshole, it's gonna end at some point. And depending on like if you work for yourself or how bad they are, this will be the last time I see you.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like at Starbucks, it's like you just get so many people, and you may have a chance of dealing with 20 assholes in an hour.
I'm not a coffee person. I've actually never tasted coffee.
Really?
But yeah, I don't have any inclination to. There's just something about it that just doesn't do anything for me.
I can see that.
But I've always wondered how people like find their coffee.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the 2 squirts of such it's like how 70 million combinations, and this is your combination.
Well, I used to talk about people who have some kind of like emotional issues. I used to work at this Starbucks, and this woman, I think was a social worker, which is kind of awkward for how like crazy she was. She would change her order if you remembered it. Like she had this really weird thing where like she was just convinced you couldn't remember her order.
Oh my God.
And my boss told me I didn't believe it. And like they don't understand. I don't understand how they don't understand because you did this in school. You don't learn things just by remembering like word for word. You kind of sing. It's like your phone number. Like if I ask you like the 5th number of your phone number, you're not gonna remember.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like that. Or you remember mnemonics. So there's ways to remember like really long things. And so we can remember quite long, complicated drinks.
Yeah.
And so after a while, you remember her drink, and then she would say, "Oh no, it's this," and then she would just change it.
But yeah, at what point in your life do you decide that that's like your mix? You know what I'm saying?
I guess it's like a comfort thing, because it's like, because people, if you don't have what people want, like I used to be a supervisor, and I would tell like some of the baristas, like we're teaching people coping skills.
Yeah.
Because like people would just come in and they would just be freak out, like oh, we're out of white mocha. One woman actually told me like, you are out of white mocha, you ruined my day. And I just got flippant. I said, you know what? If not having white mocha is the worst thing that's gonna happen in your day, you're having an amazing day.
Yeah.
Like, like people like get really like, that's what Starbucks makes its money. It makes its money from like people who would never be served. They would be kicked out of other places.
Right.
And they're so particular. I've actually had people tell me this, like they can't make their own drink because they won't make it right.
Right. Yeah. I mean, half squirt and half a Splenda, and you're just like, whoa, light ice, and you're just like.
And some of it's mental. I had one guy, he wasn't my customer, but like one of my coworkers, she laughed because she thought he was joking. He wanted 17 ice cubes. So she thought he was like making fun of people who do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he was serious. And it's like you cannot possibly know there's 17 ice cubes.
Yeah.
We had one woman, it was hilarious. She was in denial about how much sugar she was drinking. So she would always order 14 pumps of the classic syrup.
And you're like,
which is like, almost 3 times as much as you get.
Right.
But she really wanted 15, and she could tell the difference. And so we would just always put 15, and then one day her assistant came in to get the drink, and like, oh, you're getting a drink for so-and-so. She's like, yeah. Like, okay, we're gonna put in 15. She said, no, she wants 14. Like, no, trust me, she's gonna complain if we do 14. Well, she said 14, so let's just do 14. So we did it, and the next day she came in, she said, yeah, put 15, and she complained. We're like, yeah, she's in denial. And then you have baristas like me. I used to love to sample. Like in my first store, they would call me the sample queen because I was just constantly sampling. I don't know how I didn't get fired for like comparing the product to drugs, but I would like give people a sample like, oh, the first one's free. But like I would constantly sample stuff, so people would kind of learn like what they wanted from me.
Yeah.
So like one woman, she was trying to like lose a little weight, and she would get a white mocha, and I was like, well, if you just put like a little few, like maybe like 1 or 2 pumps less of the white mocha, because it's like the most high, or that's one of the most high calorie syrups we have, and get a mista, which is half milk and half coffee, you'll save a few calories.
Yeah.
So you kind of learn from like the baristas like how to kind of change things up a little bit. Used to be you can tell who was a barista because they would just come in with the most ridiculous order, and it's like it's only somebody who's worked here, who's experimented for like months, if not years, who would come up with something so complicated. But now with TikTok, everyone's sharing their own little recipes. And so now you just have people come in just like, I'm just happy I don't work at Starbucks anymore. Like the whole TikTok thing just makes that a nightmare. People order drinks, it's like, that cannot taste good. You would be terrified if you saw how much sugar some people drink at Starbucks. I once made a drink that I wasn't sure if it was legal for me to make. I'm like, would this be like considered like attempted murder to give someone this much sugar? I think I gave the woman like 12 to 16 ounces of white chocolate.
Wow. But then they'll be like, and have Splenda in it, and you're like, oh.
It was so she was a heroin addict, which I later had another heroin addict tell me that they can't process sugar. It's interesting the things that people will tell you in Florida.